Don't understand what's going on.
I was about to do the Static Zone intro, but that's not what this is. So, alright, we'll go ahead and start in 3, 2. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Not a Podcast. We've done plenty of those, so this is just an aftermath, as you can see, of the title up there, and you've got the schedule over here on my stage right, we'll say. But we're going to talk about the Dreamcast and more 12-hour marathon that just happened. So I'm Scotty Mo, Faux Show down there, or just Scotty Mo almost everywhere else. And then with me is someone who was there digitally, but has been there multiple years physically. I'm going to call you Brett the Hatfield, but what does it say below you? And do you want to explain that name real quick, just so people know you don't play Smash Brothers all the time?
Yes, exactly. I am Smash Villain. It is a hockey reference. I swear, I only play Smash Brothers just to beat up Mario with Kazuya and Sonic. Occasionally, I'm more of a Tekken guy. But yeah, I've been helping out with this for a long freaking time, and yeah, couldn't make it there physically, but wanted to be there digitally, and it was. Well, we got a whole podcast to talk about how fun it was.
Yeah. I think there's either a siren or a cat claiming its territory behind you.
Hocus, please. Hocus. Sorry, everyone.
There's too many people on this podcast, or whatever this is. Tell them, shut up or get their own.
God. Yo, Hocus, tell me what you thought about Dragon Strikers.
Yeah, tell us about that. Hocus. Is it Hocus like Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, her sister's named Hocus.
Ah, gotcha. All right. We'll power through though. Yeah, so what normally happens after these marathons, this just happened as of this recording. It happened 3 days ago on 9/9/2023. It was the Dreamcast and more, 12 hours. Normally it's the 24-hour Dreamcast marathon. We branched away from that or expanded from that to add some other stuff as we're going to go through on the schedule. What we've done every year, though, is usually it's on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. The next episode of a podcast is what the aftermath entails, but there's not a brand behind this. Static Zone is its own thing, and that's all more movies than games, really, and we don't have another brand behind this at all, unless Galloping Ghost, if you're out there, I got your hat, I bought it. But no, we normally go through the schedule itself, or, just relive it, talk about what happened during it. And last year, we did all join in Chicago. Shouts out to TJ Kitsune for hosting again. And we kind of talked about the trip and stuff last year. I won't discuss that too much, because I was there, Brett was not, so it would be pretty one-sided and not entirely fair. I'll mention some pickups I got, but yeah, right. I'll mention some pickups I got at the very end, because one of them is relevant, but they're all Sega anyway. How about that? What a shock! But no, so we'll go into it here, and also full disclosure, Brett and I both used to write and do things for Megavisions, and then before that, Sega Addicts, of which. But both areas hosted the marathon. This is the 10th one I am hosting, but it started way back in 2012. Well, it would have been 2010.
Was it?
I think.
Was it 2012?
Or maybe 11. But I know that Josh knew he kicked it off, and I didn't actually host with him until 2013. So that's
the year I took over. That's why I was saying, like, it was you and Josh in 2013, and then I think he started in 2012 on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Before Twitch was even like a thing. I think that was when it was still like, is that on Ustream?
It's on Justin TV, sir.
Justin TV?
Yeah, Justin.tv. The first one he did was all blog writing. Like, he would play it out, because there was no streaming, and there wasn't really like YouTube Live or any type of like easily recording ability to record games and what you're playing and yourself on camera. So he would play a game for an hour and then blog about it and like add to. I don't remember if he added to the same post over time or if he did a different post every hour. But he would just post about it on Sega Addicts. And then the next year he did stream his own thing. I watched a good bit of it, and I think John Doherty helped split the responsibility with the first one, I think, because Josh actually had to go to work halfway through the stream or something and then come back.
Yeah, he took over.
And then the year that I joined in, digitally, like live, was definitely still Justin TV, and we had a weird like split URL thing that people were watching, so you would see both of them. And I don't even remember how the chat would work for that, because it straight up was not Twitch. Like Justin TV
Yeah.
became Twitch, so I don't even remember. But there was a chat somehow. And Facebook reminded me, hey, 10 years ago you did this, and I saw the most hideous but most comfortable, one of the most comfortable recliner chairs that I would just gamer, adult old man pro tip for gaming: find a recliner that works and never throw it away. You know, what were you gonna say though, Brett?
I was trying to think. I don't know if it was exactly multi-Twitch, but it works similar to that. Except I think no. It works similar to that, except you only had like one chat you could go to. Like you had to choose which chat to work with.
Yeah, I feel like we
instead
would
of
have
being
had
able to, like,
one
switch.
chat, because I don't think it would have had two chats on one browser window showing
No.
two channels. That just wouldn't make sense, because otherwise, like,
It
why
wasn't-
even? So that
It wasn't
yeah.
nearly as advanced as like multi-Twitch is now, where you can at least swap between the chat windows.
Yeah, it's nuts now.
The ones you're watching.
Right. And I think the first physical one, I was looking this up, I believe was 2017, or I'm sorry, 2015, because that was when you and Nick flew from Seattle, you rode from West Virginia, and then Elle came from Arkansas, and Tom came from Philly, which is where Nick decided to go. For that,
So
we don't need to relive that story, because I feel bad at this point telling it. Like, it's gone. It's still hilarious, and we'll still have our little side jokes. But long story short, Nick accidentally flew to Philadelphia instead of Pittsburgh. But yeah,
there's a small related story. I was watching a wrestling show with some friends in Discord the other day, and it took place in Pittsburgh. And one of the
this
people
live
in the
other
call,
day? There was a Pittsburgh wrestling event.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a
I didn't
Payback.
hear about it.
And one of the people in the call is from Philadelphia, and some of the others aren't from the United States. So they're like, so you could technically have been at this show, and I just started laughing. Like, you don't even know. You don't even know the.
Yeah, if you try hard enough,
struggles
you
we've
could
had
be.
with that.
Oh brother. That was
It
just.
was a nice flashback.
Oh my gosh, that's great. But yeah, and then I want to say, was it that first physical year that we also learned of Extra Life, or did we kick that in a year after? I can't remember.
I think that was a year after.
Okay.
I think that was 2016.
Okay. That's probably correct. Oh, you know what? I did look back at, I can double check, because I did go back and like tally up. I was looking at how much we had raised each year for Extra Life and everything like that. So, oh no, 2017. Yeah, so you're right. 2017 was the first year for Extra Life. That doesn't feel right to me.
In 2016, we did like 500, and like Stevie came in at the end to get us at 500. And then 2017 was the first year, first year we hit 1,000.
Yes.
And that was when TJ flew in with Matt.
Yep.
And all of that whole deal. So
yeah,
that was the first
yeah.
time we hit 1,000.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but so since then we've raised money for Extra Life through this stream and through our other streams. Mainly this marathon is the big. Well, it was the catalyst for Extra Life streaming, but also it is the bigger event out of the ones we do. Brett streams more often than I do, and he has done his own marathons in the past. I've also done my own marathons in the past, with one celebrating the Sega Saturn in May for the US release of what we've dubbed Saturn Day. Not us, but like the world. And then there's also Extra Life Day itself in November, where us and a lot of other awesome people stream. So, but the marathon has always been the main thing that people flock to, and it's just been one big party for a full day. But so the layout that everybody can see right now below, we have the thermometer which is actually live at this recording. So now I think we're at 21:05 at the end of the marathon. Now we're at 22:55. So we set our first goal of 1,000. Then we bumped it up to 1,500 because we surpassed 1,000 before the marathon even started. And now we're at 2:55. So who knows what it'll be by the time Extra Life Day rolls around. But that is amazing. And we'll just keep, hopefully, destroying goal after goal after goal. But with all of that in mind, though, we can go ahead and talk about the schedule. Unless you have any other, like, pre-scheduled discussion or anything, Brett, you wanted to add before we kick in here, like of memories or whatever. Yeah.
That we do raise money throughout the entire year, like whenever we're streaming. So it isn't just these events. We could still theoretically smash this goal by December 31st. So that's just something to keep in mind. If people weren't able to donate at the time, but they want to in the future, we still raise money all year. So
yes, that's a good thing to keep in mind. And we'll have in the description of this video, we'll have a link for the team page and everything. I realize now I probably should have upped the goal, but that's all right. It looks cool that it's over the goal right now. But yeah, and one more full disclosure thing. This is the day after I just got back from flying from Chicago, so traveling and all that stuff. I took another day off of work, played it safe, learning from past years, yeah, giving me some extra time to recover. And I did start watching back a little bit of the stream to see if we can get some clips out of there and stuff. There are definitely clip-worthy moments this year. I feel like that we learned from our bodies screaming at us that 12 hours is a safe, good, comfortable thing. We still had energy after it. We didn't like go out partying or anything, but we were just not as dead as we normally are at the end of a 24-hour stream. So all of that in mind.
To ask about that.
Oh yeah, no, it felt good because like we always had our like post-meal discussion of after the marathon. Either it be later that day essentially when we would end at 7 a.m. and then everyone takes a 3 or 4 or 5 hour nap and then we go to lunch or something, discuss it. One of the main things was maybe ease back from 24. And Rachel and I, my partner Rachel and I have done the 12-hour Saturday marathons, and we felt good after those. Like, and at like 10 p.m. and it's still, you can have, if you didn't eat dinner during it, you can have like a snack and still feel like you could watch some TV or kind of ease out of marathon mode and into sort of normal life again. So, but it was, you felt still energized enough to not feel like you're gonna be drained, like not dread waking up from a weird nap and messing up your clock or whatever. So, no, it felt good. Yeah. It felt more refreshing than it has.
Because that's why I was wondering, because the last time I did a 24-hour marathon back in 2021, I thought I was going to have more time, but like I thought, okay, it's just gonna be the 24 hours. Now I can get a nap and I'm good. But all the setup, all the like the layout design, equipment setup, all that, making sure everything works. Especially when I was using like my PS3 at the time, which in previous marathons may have crapped out on me during Go 6. So it's like trying to get everything set, make sure everything works, then get all that sleep. It's like it's a much bigger time sink than 24 hours. Yeah. So what and like. I noticed things from both as a participant and as a viewer. Like, I noticed y'all didn't really hit that wall as a participant. Right. You didn't hit that wall that we would usually hit about. God, for me, it would usually come in about 6, 7 p.m.
Yeah. I mean,
especially like 2 or 3 a.m. It's like we're all like,
yes.
Oh God, can it be 7? Can we get this over with?
Yeah, I
didn't see that at all.
No, okay, that's good. I might notice that watching these back, but that's good, and that's why I wanted you on, because you were on there the full 12 hours, but you were not in the room. So it's good to discuss and figure out like what could be enhanced, what worked best, what maybe hindered it. But yeah, that is the thing though too, is there is all the setup and everything. We tried to set up 2 days before. We got everything except for like a couple. We couldn't test audio adequately until we streamed, obviously. It was funny literally up until we went live. TJ could not find, or he had erased his Sonic Adventure save, and I only brought VMUs that had Soul Calibur all characters unlocked. So TJ found a file with Sonic on his last level. So like while I'm double checking and like getting Discord plugs and socials ready, he's there playing through the last level in Sonic Adventure, or Sonic's last level in it, and then the final boss, so that we could at least go into what's it called, the action stage mode, and just have all those. So we at least had, which theoretically maybe that's the best option, is just have Sonic's game be played for the marathon's sake. So that was kind of funny because we did start late as usual. It'd be scary if we started on time at this rate, but we started a little late because we were literally unlocking or finalizing Sonic's adventure for the stream. So that was that thing there. But yeah, so we'll go into it here though. The first we started at 10 a.m. Central, so that was 11 Eastern, and I forget all the other time zones. But how was that for you, thinking like, oh, cool, I don't have to wake up at 5:30 or 6:30 to sit there for half an hour and assume they'll start on time? Because you watched last year's a little bit, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watched Saturday and all that. So, and here's the thing with whenever I would go, as like you mentioned, we have to wake up at like 5:30, 6 a.m., something like that. Got to get showers, all that stuff, get breakfast. In my case, I would always treat the marathon like it was Christmas Eve, basically. So I couldn't sleep. I wouldn't fall asleep usually till like 3 a.m. during like marathon trips. So it's like, okay, I got 3 hours of sleep. I have to get up at 6 a.m. All of that. So like that's going through my like, okay, at least they don't have to go through all of that. And yeah, it's actually nice. Like starting at 10 a.m. I feel, 10 a.m. for y'all, it was 11 for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was. That's the other thing. Is like when you guys weren't live, like right at 11. I'm like, did I fuck this up? Did I screw this up? Did I get up at the wrong time? Because it's only an hour difference, but it still messes with you. But yeah, it was really nice to be able to sleep in, get the day off from work, sleep in, wake up, and watch some shenanigans in Sonic Adventure.
Yes.
Watch Ice Cap screw everyone over again.
Dude, every year I said, like, I will do this. I will make up for whoever messing up. But those dumb, what is it? Stalactites, I think, are on the ceiling. Whatever those pointy, the ice spikes on the ceiling are. Like, you're supposed to, you spring up to them, bounce spring up to them, and then you rotate around. And you jump over to another one. I literally bounced off one. I'm like, all right, well, this level's just broken. So, did eventually get through it, though.
If it isn't those, it's the snowboarding section. Because I've had that screw me over so many times. Like, I'll hit that final ramp perfectly. It'll, like, launch me into the fucking stratosphere and kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I missed the final lamp. I missed the final ramp. And it just, like, sadly fell almost straight down instead of shooting off and being a real cool guy on the board, but it's whatever. We got through it though. And then switched over to, so this is already where Dreamcast and more, because we switched over to Sega Saturn and forced Corey to play Mr. Bones, because every time Rachel and I have played that, he's been like, Mr. Bones is awesome. It's a great game. And we're both like, no, it's not. It's dumb as hell on every level. So he played the first level, did not finish the first level, played it like I think he gave it like 3 attempts maybe, and then we put in the level select.
It was more than that.
Probably, yeah. But he still said it's a cool game. I still say it's one of the more ambitious games I've played, but for something that it just stars a skeleton and you have a different control scheme and almost a different genre every level, so it's just too much with zero direction. Even if they had just a controller on the screen and it said like, these are what this does now, anything, but it doesn't. No, so that would make too much sense. Yeah. So Ed Nunziata, thanks. But it was, yeah. So we wanted to throw that in there mainly to shut him up. and I was honest about it too. I was like, this is so that you can learn it's not as good and stop telling us it is. Was that fun to watch? Because he was definitely suffering through it.
It was, I do enjoy suffering in old platformers, honestly. And then we got to see the out of nowhere guitar level too. Because I think y'all put in like a level select code. So
yeah,
he got to show off what he wanted anyway, which was
did get through that, which is good because it's a rhythm game in the loosest sense, because it really is a
show you.
Yeah, I put rhythm game in quotes because you're not really following a rhythm. You're kind of following, I can't even say it, like some RPGs will have in their fighting in the battle portion of them, you might have to like mash buttons, but not mash them just mashing wise, but actually find a rhythm to that. It's barely even that with this minigame. It's just Mr. Bones standing there with the guitar, and in the background are the skeletons. They start with red eyes because they hate him, and then you want to get them all to have blue eyes and maybe holding some lighters in the air while he's doing this guitar solo. But there's no, like, every button does a different sort of riff or whammy or something, and you just have to fill up the eyeballs from red to blue, and that's how you beat that level. And he did. So he felt good about that, and then he walked away and fucking punched his liquid death with his knee. So, yeah, it was pretty good. It was, I mean, if we had done that game longer than half an hour, I think a controller would have gotten spiked or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was.
What I remember of watching like other playthroughs of that game, that's basically how it goes. You just
Yeah.
you tolerate it ever so much, and then it's like, oh, I'm about to break something. I better turn this off and play something fun.
100%. The Saturn Day thing, when Rachel and I were playing, that was the one time we came real close to like not being entertaining because we were just angry at the game. Like it's not even fun. Like we couldn't even balance like one person try to be positive while the other one is getting annoyed. It's just like this game doesn't make sense. And So anyway, what does make sense, Choo Choo Rocket, holy crap.
Cat Mania, baby. Let's
Cat
go.
Mania, Mouse Mania. We had 4 people playing that. I think mostly it was Corey, me, Rachel, and T-Bone. I think that's
Yes.
everybody that played. That is a fun, goofy game. I don't know if we need to say much about that.
I thought there was gonna be a fist fight over some of the
Corey straight up punched me in the leg when I was giving him shit in the game. So I consider
no.
that an accomplishment if someone wants to actually physically harm me for what I'm doing to them in a video game. So that was
harmed over Cat Mania.
Yeah, it probably was that too. But more importantly, during the that little Dreamcast portion block, we switched over to the indie game Driving Strikers that recently came out. That is very much Rocket League on, for lack of a better description, it's Rocket League on Dreamcast with a different camera angle. First ever indie game to have online multiplayer, and first ever indie game to have crossplay online multiplayer between Dreamcast and Steam. And you learned of it as we were announcing what was coming next, basically. And thanks to the power of the internet. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was just a Dreamcast game, honestly. Like, I'd heard about it, and I thought it was just a Dreamcast game. I didn't know it had a PC port. So the second you mentioned, it's on Steam, I'm like, well, that's $10 down the drain. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, only $10 for something. I mean, it is. I'm holding it up on the camera now here, but it is relatively basic. Or not basic. It's bare bones because it is just the cars on the field, and it's 4 cars. And you can switch your team and stuff. But go ahead.
It's like the NBA Jam camera angle as well, like the classic NBA.
That's
Jam
a good way to describe it. Yeah, because it's
center court.
Yeah, it's not fully isometric, but it's not like completely eye level at the side either. So yeah, NBA Jam is a good way to say that. It's made for multiplayer. It's made for online because I have played the single player and the AIs do get cheap, but it's not bad. I would still recommend grabbing it. I'll have a link for it in here in our description as well because it's an indie game that needs support because then they can do more stuff like this. But what was your impression? To also clarify, you can only do one person on the Dreamcast and go online. You can't have like 2 or 3 in a group go online with it. Right. It's one human per Dreamcast online, and then PC Wizard, who's an awesome member of the Dreamcast online community, part of the DreamPie creators and stuff like that make online gaming with the Dreamcast possible in the 2023. So we had one person from TJ's Dreamcast playing against PC Wizard on his Dreamcast, and then you were on Steam, and then we had an AI. So what was your impression of that experience?
I always got stuck with the AI. I think.
Yeah, it didn't really randomize that great because when you start up, you can either pick home away or random, but it always stuck you with the PC. The AI, it seemed.
Yeah, which I tried to mount some comebacks, at least. I didn't do it very good. I never won, but I tried to mount some comebacks.
I mean, you still held your own, though. There were a lot of draws that ended the matches, so you still held your own.
It's
Um,
like I said, it's a little bit wonky. I think PC Wizard mentioned like only the host on online play, especially with crossplay, gets like the full like smooth
oh,
experience. Like it was kind of running about like 25 frames per second, as opposed to like the arcade mode, which was like full 60.
yeah.
But it was still very playable. Like that thing is an accomplishment to do what
Yeah.
it does.
Like, I
And
play
it's still
Quake
very
3
playable.
online kind of regularly, and that doesn't run as well as this was running. And Quake 3
Right.
is a Twitch game. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very fun. Like I said, I love me some Rocket League anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to kind of, I guess, get a demake of Rocket League. That's
Yeah.
a good way to describe it.
That's
It is
that's
really
a good
cool.
idea. Mm-hmm.
Very fun. You can still make some like really fun plays on it, and just again, it's an accomplishment to be able to play a modern. When did this come out? What, this year or last year?
This year, 2023. So
This-
it's insane that it exists.
A 2023 Dreamcast game that has cross-play net play with Steam is an accomplishment, and it's again only $10. I recommend it. It's fun.
Yeah, $10
$10
on
and
Steam,
95 megabytes.
and either 30 or 40. I forget how much the physical Dreamcast version is. At one point they were giving away the ISO for it, so you might even be able to do that. But regardless, I'll link a way to purchase it in the description.
For sure.
That was fun, and so that kicked off the online open lobbies, and then we drifted right into Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. I was a little bit worried because this game is not optimized, just flat out. We were playing the PC version, and it is not optimized, but we were able to get 2 people split screen on TJ's PC, and we were out of USB inputs at that point, so that was the max amount of players we could have. But in the same room, and I actually did, I filmed some behind the scenes stuff, because I realized we've never really done that, because either you or I have been running around like chickens with their heads cut off behind the scenes. So I filmed a little bit of that stuff, but I did film during this happening because we had TJ and me on his PC, and then sitting on the dining room table behind us was Chris and Corey and T-Bone all on their laptops with gamepads playing in that same race with you online, and then we did have some randos come in as well. So it was awesome. It was a LAN party in TJ's living room, which was amazing.
Oh yeah, that was fun. It's one of the greatest kart racers. No, I'm just gonna just straight out say it's the greatest kart racer I've ever played.
Agreed.
And being able to,
We are the
able
internet, and we
to-
have spoken. Better than Mario Kart. The end.
you're damn right. Being able to link up with everyone was fun again. I may have stolen one at a
You
Shibuya
totally did. You
downtown.
shat out the bees. They're not even. It's
Oh.
just more fun to say bees, but they call them hornets, or no, they
Yeah,
call them
hornets or
flying-
sky tigers.
Sky tigers. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I wonder if they couldn't call it hornets because that's like a team name or something stupid. You know.
Maybe. Well, I think they call it like the regular ones wasps and like the advanced ones sky tigers.
Oh, really? Okay. I
think
never,
something
I
like
never even
that.
paid attention to that.
Uh,
So, but for those
that-
that don't know what that is, it's just a swarm of hornets, basically like a line of them blocking the track, and it's an obstacle that you have to get through somehow when you're racing. But
So let me run everyone by that. I'm playing as Danica Patrick because Sniffles, who I want to talk about later, because that guy is fucking insane.
Danica, yeah, yep.
I can play as Metal Sonic, so I play as Danica for him. Also because I'm a NASCAR guy. I guess I'm contractually required to. And I got hit by something like real early in the race, so I'm like put back to like 6th place, last place. I go like fucking mad to get through the track. Get to like the last lap. I think it was Chris who gets hit by something, so I get past him for 3rd. Corey and T-Bone are ahead of me on the final like straights. So I'm like doing tricks, I'm doing like drifts, I'm doing like anything I can do to get like max boosts. And then somebody, I think it was Rachel. I think
She might have been playing on this round because we were switching off. Yeah.
I think she's the one who sent out the bees. And whoever it was, I thank them for it. Because then Corey and T-Bone both hit the bees because it's like perfectly placed at the end
Yeah,
of
it
like
was on
this stunt ramp.
A jump, yeah, because there's a
It's like-
part. I think it's right before the end of this race where there's 2 jumps in a row. So yeah.
Yes. You got 2 jumps, and then you've got the long corner you drift through to the finish line. They both hit the bees. I go zooming past and steal the win at the last possible second. And I think you were like, he did not deserve that win.
I thought you dropped the bees because I wasn't even mad. I was like, damn, that's some good placement of that because that is gonna mess.
I got very lucky.
So he thread the bee needle, I guess, and
the beetle.
The beetle.
Wait, that's a different bug.
All right, get out of here. So yeah, that game is just so good, and it's amazing that it hasn't been. I could see if it ever gets, heaven forbid, delisted, that fans would like bring it back and try to optimize it somehow or something. But for some reason, a game that's now 2 generations old is still I don't know if 360 or PS3 still has online capabilities. I know that it is backwards or forwards compatible or whatever with the latest Xbox. But for whatever reason, the Steam lobbies are still up, so that's what we were doing. I wish we had played a little longer because I wanted to try a Capture the Chow, because that we have learned is a frenetic mess just as much as the races. But, I mean, there's plenty. It's not like that game doesn't exist. We'll definitely have to get a crew together online, maybe start up another monthly thing or something. We used to do it monthly with Megavisions on the Thursday Night Throwdowns, and then a member of the community unlocked everything, and it kind of wasn't fun. Because we were, even if you were leveling up certain characters, it still is not. I wonder if we need to start maybe. I don't know if we need to ban a certain character or something sometimes, because Corey was always picking Ages, and Ages usually demolishes because they are sort of broken. But I don't know. But I mean, we don't need to discuss transform tech. You know.
Nerf Ages.
Yeah, right, Nerf Ages.
Nerf Amy. There was someone who came in who played as Amy who just whooped all of us in the last race.
Per usual, someone unknown hopped into our group of friends and destroyed us. We didn't even... I saw that they were in the lobby and we're like, oh, cool, we're getting some other people in. And then first, like, a full lap before some of us. So half of us didn't even finish.
Like, someone came in and then won, then left. And another person came in, did the same thing, and then that was when I was like, oh, okay, capture a chow. Oh, wait, this is broken.
Yeah, I think something did stop us from getting into it. I think it was difficult, but
I think it was that Steam glitch where when you go to invite someone,
that's what it was.
Like exit out. It takes like an act of God to get that thing to disappear.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that forces Steam to open your friends list and kind of put the game in the background. And we couldn't Alt-Tab, or not even Tab, it was like a Tab X or something, I forget what the combo was, to get back in there. We couldn't do that fast enough, so it would not let us get back into the game from our... I think it's some sort of glitch that's like causing the game to think you're pressing a button on the gamepad or something.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I can figure that's different from just using it through keyboard and mouse, but I don't know. Anyway, we stopped playing that.
B to get out of it.
Yeah, you said we didn't pull the veil or pull the curtain to tell everyone what was going on. We're just like, we're having issues, but you said that was exactly what you were dealing with. You had to like lightning tap your way back into the game and stuff. So, but it is what it is. We'll play it more though, I guarantee it. So after that we finished up what would be considered a Sega block with Night Trap, and this was fun for the room, and I think the chat died except for you. So did it look like we were having a good time though? Because it was basically me or Rachel switching off and Corey reading us I was legit getting a little annoyed with Corey because he would yell the time for the next trap but not yell the room. So I'd be like, room, Corey, room. So it was weird.
It was kind of cool to see the strategy, actually, like the strategy aspect of like having people in the room be like, okay, go here, go here, go here, and just barely making it sometimes. Like,
we make it a 2-player game. Yeah, I guess to clarify, there is Night Trap is one of those it's one of the more famous FMVs, so I won't explain the whole thing, but how the controls are is you do have the cameras, and there's a button to, when you're hovering over a new security camera, there's a button to select it, and a different button initiates the trap. So there were some moments like you're talking about where we would be on like hallway 1, and then the next one's living room. So I would be on hallway, we'd be watching hallway run, I'd have the trap button ready, but I'd be hovered over security camera for living room, so it'd be like, trap, switch camera. Like you have to do that at least twice, because there are literal seconds between 2 traps or maybe 3 traps in the whole game, which is only like a half hour long if you do it right.
I've never played the game before, so I actually had no idea like that there was that level of execution to the game to like get an optimal run, because you guys didn't lose anyone. Like
we didn't lose
died.
anyone. I think there's 100 traps, I believe, altogether. We got 99, so we got a good ending, but we didn't get the best one.
Right. Because they were saying something like there's an ending where like you can kill the girl too.
Yeah, there's a couple of false traps where you don't want to kill people that should stay alive, and then the main character, quote unquote, there is a final scene. We got the ending, which is, I think, neutral good or something, because there is a final trap, and it actually makes a noise. Like, there's a slight noise when you can set the trap, and it made that for her, but we couldn't set it off because we were in the neutral one. But when you're headed towards the bad ending, that doesn't even play. But when you're headed towards the perfect ending, you can set off that last trap to totally screw your entire run. And the 90s... so it's interesting, but there's like so many things you can unlock through those variants and stuff. It really was a one of a kind game when it came out. But if anybody's curious what the heck we're talking about, it's one of the 2 games that got the ESRB rating system initiated.
That blows my mind. Still,
yeah, because you've seen the whole thing. The riskiest is like a girl in a nightgown in a bathroom. So, like,
for me, I thought it was the guy who was hanging upside down and like having his blood drained. Like, I thought,
yeah,
even this,
that
like,
is
okay,
blood. He is dead. You know.
I was like, that's the only thing I could think of that could really like lead to that. And it's like, man, how far things have come.
Right.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. But let's see here. So we skipped F-Zero GX. That was scheduled, but I think we went over with Night Trap, and I think F-Zero was only a half-hour slot. So we moved on into Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, which is one of the like 3 games on the GameCube that uses the Game Boy Advance connector cable, and you play as 4 Links running around, being idiots together. And we were idiots because we left the background music playing. That's entirely on me.
It had a great soundtrack, though.
The Midnight was playing the whole time. I messed that up, and I either didn't pay attention to the chat or didn't catch what you were saying when you did mention it. But it is what it is. That
game is so chaotic. It's hard to pay attention to chat with as much as y'all were like dealing with in that. Yep. I don't blame you a bit.
Yeah, it was fun though. I was purposely being a team killing jerk to make it a little more entertaining. I think I was a legitimately annoying T-Bone, but it was still fun overall, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's a game where you can really screw each other over, but you have to work together at some points to progress. But it's still fun. It's still I'd say it's really held up well, and it blows my mind they haven't done a sequel to that on consoles somehow.
Honestly, so. I'm not a Zelda guy, but that was one of the most fun parts of the block because it was just so chaotic and
that's good. That's good. I'm glad.
I'm saying nice things about Nintendo franchise. What's wrong with me?
TJ did not play a single damn Nintendo game. I realized the next day. I was like, he wasn't in the van that we rented when I realized this, but I was just like, you little bitch. Like, because he didn't play Zelda, he didn't touch WarioWare, that was next, he didn't touch Metroid Prime, and then he didn't, he came back in eventually with other stuff, but I was like, wow. And I know he did that on purpose, but...
hey, living the gimmick, I support it, brother.
I suppose so. After that, though, we did WarioWare. It's WarioWare. I don't know if we need to really say much about WarioWare. It's, it was a perfect game to fit into half an hour or less. I'll say that much.
It was a good lunch game.
Yeah, too, I was eating during that time, and then I was able to eat, and then kind of walked away. We just did a lap to get myself some air and stuff during the next portion. But we played Metroid Prime 2 Echoes multiplayer. This was before Nintendo had any first-person shooters that used a stick for looking, or thought of. Even though this was GameCube, it was almost more tank controls than it is. First-person shooter controls, so it's a little bit strange, but Chris, who fought for this one and hosted this one, we did talk about it after, and I think this was one of the weaker portions because he knew what to do and no one else really had a grasp on the controls because there's a learning curve. And Metroid is an adventure game before it's a shooter, so
Yeah.
bear that in mind. I don't know. Was this a entertaining portion? I was gone for most of it, so.
So around about this time and a little bit during the Gundam part,
Mhm.
I wasn't around as much because people were coming in. I had to carry some stuff in and get my
Gotcha.
dinner prepared and everything. But what I did see looked pretty fun.
Okay.
First-person shooters aren't normally my thing, but I do enjoy a little bit of Metroid. So this may have convinced me to maybe give it a shot in the future.
Oh, nice.
Honestly.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I've only played the first Prime, so I can't speak on too much of or can't speak on behalf of this one too much really, but yeah, we gave it a shot. Throw something in the mix. And then completely threw everyone for a curveball with the game, the now soon to be classic, Give Me Toilet Paper. On the Nintendo Switch, and I will explain this one, but I will preface it with it's only $5, and it's only on the Switch right now. You stick a Joy-Con into a roll of toilet paper, and you put that roll of toilet paper on like a board or a plank. We used a board game box, and you tilt it back and forth to guide a roll of toilet paper to this doofus sitting on the toilet waiting for his toilet paper, and that's it. That's the game. Was that entertaining to watch? Because I had fun playing it. Yeah.
Very fun.
Good.
We had Happy Dude in the chat as well, who I think speedruns the game. So he's
Yep.
giving tech and then and then he complained about someone I think it was Corey, like kind of cheating to get it through.
Corey cheated. Yeah, you can just like hold the thing and just like move it around with your hands and whatever. It's not nearly as much fun though.
It's not as pure.
Yeah, exactly. Not the pure toilet paper experience that I want.
But no, that was a lot of fun. I mentioned, I think this was when Nick came in too. Someone had mentioned Mr. Mosquito, and then he mentioned like the fact that we can get a game like a game dev just wanted to make a game about toilet paper.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, it's got big PS2 dev energy, and it does.
Yes.
Like you don't normally get stuff like this today.
No,
like
you
did
really
back
don't.
in the PS2 and Dreamcast days. So it's nice to see. I appreciate it for that alone.
Yeah, it's a good weird thing that definitely does not happen much because nobody's as willing to take risks as this. But it's definitely only going to ever be on the Switch unless it's like a weird VR thing somehow. I don't know.
Maybe.
And continuing the weird block, Pepsi Man on the PlayStation 1. It's an endless runner. It's Temple Run before Temple Run. And it's got Pepsi Man. I think just look it up. I think just look it up and you'll enjoy
Watch
it.
the block. Watch the block in the VOD. Yeah,
that block is good. The whole VOD is up on YouTube. Since we stream simultaneously, I wanted to do that so it would be up there as soon as possible. And next up was Gundam Battle Assault 2. I think. Oh no, you know what? I think I was out for maybe this was when I took a walk. Yeah, I had my lunch or I had my meal during Metroid, and then I took a walk during Gundam here. The only other than Soul Calibur later on, the only fighting game this year, but it made sense. I think maybe a weaker portion of it, but I don't know. What did you think of that, Brett?
What I was able to see, I said I was out for a little bit of this myself, just due to dinner. But what I was able to see looked fun. Again, I appreciate obscure fighting games, so what I was able to see, like, I'm glad it made it on. It's unique. It's not something you're gonna see a whole lot of, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Corey fought for this one to be on there, and he enjoyed it, and I think he played through the campaign or something after a couple of battles were done, or I know he was on the final boss at one point. That's what I walked in on anyway. But set that aside for the real hype. Sort of the background behind us right now, within the window, but we had some Daytona. Some of TJ's friends were over, or TJ and Matt's friends or something, and that was their first impression of me screaming Daytona at the TV, so I didn't care.
You had that for a good 20 seconds, by the way. That was
impressive. I wanted to go longer, but I think my voice is just getting old or something. I don't know. I didn't go through puberty this year, though.
It's a metaphor for the entire marathon experience. We're too old to go any longer. 20 seconds and 12 hours. That's our max now.
That's it. That's it, kids. You got it on video. Yeah, so that was the tournament that we do every year, fighting for the belt that Corey left at home, he says.
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I thought about reminding him to pack it, but I didn't want to be a mother. I didn't want to be a mom and be like, don't forget to pack your toothbrush, you know. So we still had a tournament, though. We still fought for the belt. And Brett had a competition or a side quest, whatever you would call it. So do you want to describe that, though?
This is also part of why I missed a good chunk of Gundam, because I was trying to set down my fastest lap.
I was going to ask if you were playing mostly while we were, what?
Yeah. Because this is a thing, like, this part of the marathon has always been near and dear to my heart. And I wanted to be a part of it in some way, so I kind of shoehorned myself in. And I said, okay, I'm going to put down my fastest lap in the time attack mode. If someone can beat this in the race, I will donate to their extra life page. Or for someone who doesn't have an extra life page, they can pick someone for me to donate to. Mm-hmm. Corey beat it in like the second fucking race of the tournament.
Yeah, was that the first lap record you set for yourself, and just you went with it, or was that?
It was the closest I could get, because I was like trying to like play it like proper. Mm-hmm. So I was like doing the drift in the final, like in turns 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. And then Corey just comes in and fucking just Ross Chastains it around the wall. It gets like a 17.8 lap. I'm like, well, that was fun while it lasted.
I mean, sometimes there's some RNG in there, which I was totally using in terms of AI cars. Because if you
kind of bouncing off them.
Yeah, if you kind of skitch next to them through turns, you don't even need to drift. You're just basically using them as like turn fodder or whatever.
You murdered like 5 drivers in your races.
Yep, sure did. But yeah, that was fun. Part of me is like, should we have done Saturn Daytona since this was Dreamcast and more? But it looks better to do visually. The Dreamcast version is better, but I didn't think about that until like after the fact, so I wasn't gonna.
That might be a good point, because that's one thing that everyone was talking about, and I can definitely concur with, is the Dreamcast version of Daytona is the most slippery version of the game possible.
Yeah.
Like, because like I can go and I can play like the PS3 port, or I can play the Saturn version or whatever, and it feels perfect. It feels great. I got on that Dreamcast version, and I gotta have a few laps to kind of get used to how loose the car is.
Yeah.
So I can definitely vouch for maybe doing Saturn next time.
I don't know if they tried to make it more physics based, since Sega Rally 2 was on the Dreamcast, or if they were trying to mess with something like that, because it just doesn't feel as tight as other versions. No. It's really strange.
Like if I'm like spinning out on the front stretch or on the back stretch, like any of the straight stretches, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's over if you do. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sure there's entire podcasts about that, the differences of it, or blogs or something. But yeah, so we went from one kind of group oriented thing to another with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, Dimensional by Construct. I forget what it's called.
Dimensional, here's Karai. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm. So they added
a bunny in Karai.
Yeah, exactly. So they the new Ninja Turtles game is awesome, and they added some DLC that added characters and costume variants and different unlockable things and whatever. So there's a survival mode now, and we went through that, which is nothing to sneeze at. We had 4 people playing, because we had Corey was on his laptop in the back, and then we had 2 people on, I think, TJ's PC, and then you were playing as well. I think we only capped at 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun, though. That was definitely one of the more entertaining hours, I would say, overall.
Very chaotic. Because I, especially like on my end, I'm just used to like the single player. So like seeing the entire screen explode with like everyone popping their supers at the same time.
Right.
My God.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, though.
That was good. I mean, you were holding the team together most of the time when we all got downed. And that game is kind of broken when more than 2 or basically 2 or more people are down, because the enemy will only go for the person fighting, and it's just nigh impossible to pick someone up. But I think that's my only solid complaint, is that's a little busted when it comes to group sessions and stuff. But no, we played through. We didn't beat survival mode. That's impossible. We'd still be playing if we tried to say that. But we did. We got through a couple of rounds of it. Unlocked some crystals. Unlocked some different. I was happy to unlock the black and white skins for some people. So
same. Raph in the black and white is just so fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, all of them in the black and white, because it's just like the black and white except for their headbands or their masks.
Yep.
So it's like Raph is like just got that bright red. Mikey's got the bright orange. It's so striking. It's beautiful.
It's pretty good. And they also do that for April, and I think Karai has it. I think everybody has it.
Yeah.
So it's
not everyone
cool.
has like the little splash of color. Like I think Karai gets it when she does her taunt, when her eyes start glowing. That's about it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a lot easier to, except for the comic book levels that are black and white, it's a lot easier to keep track of yourself as a just giant white thing on the screen now.
I'm glad it wasn't just me who was constantly falling in the hole in the middle of that one level.
Oh yeah, that's weird. I understand why they did it, but yeah.
It's real screwed up too, because like when you respawn, it's like, okay, I'm gonna jump.
They spawn you next to it.
My jump's out. They spawn you next to it, and it's like, oh, the jump's not working. Here I go again.
Yep.
Back into the pit.
Yeah,
wow,
that
ridiculous.
It was a good time, though. We did some survival, and we did some of the campaign to just kind of play a little bit here and there. And after that, Tokyo Bus Guide. Man, it's always a ride, pun intended, that game. We got through a level, though, this year, and I think... And we talked about it. I was like, I think Tokyo Bus Guide has officially run its time or something. I don't know. Like, it's not as magical because everyone has played it now. We've all seen it each year. It's still a cool game. It's still a weird thing. It's still a weird product. I recommend anyone who's never played it to play it with a group of people rather than try and by yourself at first. But we did... Was it TJ that made it through? I can't remember who actually made it. Who was playing when we made it through.
If it was TJ or Corey.
I don't remember.
I think it was TJ. I think it was TJ. I know a couple of people like ran into like absolutely nothing and got disqualified.
Oh yes. Yep, that did happen. That's how that game operates sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tokyo Bus Guide's always fun, but definitely check out the VOD for that one. It's such a weird thing. And moving right along to weird things in Japan, Shenmue 2, specifically the duck racing. I got first when no one in the room was watching, but
I clipped it. I got you.
Thank you.
I got you, brother.
Good. I appreciate it. Yeah, I did win the duck racing. I think Chris also won the duck racing once. It's a fun, goofy, just silly thing, and we kind of did it one year to troll people that were demanding Shenmue, but it is still a fun thing that also, even if you've played Shenmue 2, you might still not even know it exists because it's such an extensive process to unlock this thing that doesn't matter. So, yeah, that was good.
That was fun.
And then, two of the heavy hitters here. Second to last game, Saturn Bomberman. We did 7-player Saturn Bomberman. People, specifically Corey, I will call him out, really hated how good I was at that game. I was just playing the game. I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't talking trash. I'm just playing the game. And it was a 7-player insanity. We did the 10-player once just to show how... stretched out and ridiculous and almost unplayable.
I didn't know that even existed. That shit was hard to watch.
It's honestly goofy. It's silly and weird, and yeah, it is hard to watch. Even on the TV, the size of the TV that we had, it's still kind of like too much. Because your dude is like 6 pixels tall or something absurd.
It's neat that it exists.
Yep.
That's one of those things. Like, oh god, this is burning my eyes a little.
yeah, because the Saturn multi-tap has 6 inputs, so we had 2 of those on the floor. I don't remember I asked Rachel to take a picture of everybody like holding the controllers and the screen and stuff. I don't know if we got a picture of like the cable monstrosity that was on the floor, but it was something. And I enjoyed that game. It's a fun game. I don't know if everybody else had fun. I don't know. Did it look like it was fun? I couldn't tell.
It looked fun. It looked really fun. That, like, just from my own experiences and then watching that game is a fucking... I'm not gonna say. Never mind. I'll just say it. Pun intended. It's a blast.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that block.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear
It's,
then.
I you mentioned like you just kept winning. I'm like, I was gonna ask how many times you won, but it might be easier to ask you how many times you lost because I think that's way down like the low single digits.
Boy, I don't know, because there were a couple of draw games, which is fun. And I know that Corey got a couple matches as well. I think we took out the AI, but when we had AIs, they were winning because they're broken a little bit,
Yeah.
even on the lowest difficulty level. I don't know. I don't know how many I missed, or I mean, we can check the tapes. We can check the tapes. But it's fun. I was just happy to have Bomberman. I mean, I had to pack 4 controllers and 2 multi-taps with me in my stupid suitcase and backpack, so I was just happy that we got to use those, even if just for an hour. It's always a good time, and that game is one of the higher priced ones. It is not worth the price people are trying to get you to pay. Maybe find one of those satiators. We looked last, and it was like in the couple hundreds or something. It hasn't gotten to Panzer Dragoon levels yet, but I know it jumped with the what's it called, with the bubble and stuff during pandemic. So let's see what it is now, though. On the US Saturn, go ahead and try to guess. Try to guess loose and complete. Feel free.
If we're in the 100 range, like the hundreds range, I'll say 250 for completes and 100 for loose.
Okay. So loose is 149.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And complete is 475.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, dumb. Really stupid. Yeah, if we go back, like 2020 is where it jumped up, because it was only like 324, and then it skyrocketed, and it just hasn't really... Oh, excuse me, it's dropped recently from 513 to 475. It's a shame because it hasn't, like, I mean, it is Saturn Bomberman, so it's on Sega Saturn, but it hasn't been, like, really ported anywhere. Kind of how the Genesis version of Bomberman is called Mega Bomberman, but it was definitely the PC Engine game also, or TurboGrafx, whatever, but this one hasn't been on anything else, so unfortunately, I say at this point, for stuff like that, just get the Satiator or something, you know?
Satiator, emulation, it's better than... God, almost halfway to $1,000 for any game, really.
And it's going to be more than half if you need to buy a Saturn for it, so not worth destroying your wallet. Yeah, but what is worth destroying your wallet, if you got a couple rods, and you got a Soul Calibur, and you got this Dino Mask, there you go.
Hell yeah!
Line up the Pole Caliber, ladies and gentlemen and everyone. We did it. We've cut this down to half an hour, probably for the sake of my blood pressure. But the final stretch of the marathon every year is Soul Calibur, the launch fighting game for the Dreamcast, with the fishing rod controller, which is right here, and another one right here. Boom, boom, burn, baby, burn. The pole still burns. A tale
of lizards and poles, eternally retold.
Eternally, yes. That was so I know you clipped some stuff from there, so what was it to see it on? I was standing for a portion of it, sitting for most of it. We also had made it to 2000. I think we made it to 2000 during this portion.
Yes.
And then
Snips came in with the last 200 to cross us over the line.
Right. And then we brought in the giant Tails plushie that sat on the couch. That's the size of life itself.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect when you guys said a special guest. I thought it was going to be like a giant lizard or something, like a Godzilla or something. Like, I don't know what TJ's got in his basement, what terrifying contraptions he may be brewing down there. So it's like, then I saw Tails. I'm like, oh my god, yes!
Then, it was good.
The bit where you had him playing as Lizard Man is beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was helping Tails control the rod. For the game. And it was fun and ridiculous, and I was exhausted after that. But it was good because it wasn't 6 a.m. that I was doing that. Exactly. That I would then re-energize myself to not go to sleep for 3 hours or something. So it was only 9:30 Central when we started it, and then had a couple people do some rounds of Pole Calibur as well. and that was the marathon. That's the quickest we've run through it, of course, since it's shorter, but it was pretty good. I'd say like if I had any favorite moments, I would say the unexpected success of getting an online game of Driving Strikers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely transformed. Night Trap was fun. Four Swords was fun, and probably Shredder's Revenge was the most like continual, like that block. I think that entire block was probably my favorite portion. It was fun to do Bomberman, but I feel like we could have actually maybe switched it up a little bit and not rush. We sort of had to rush that one to get to Pole Caliber at an adequate time. So probably Shredder's Revenge was my favorite, then Driving Strikers and Transformed, I'd say. So, what about you?
The thing I noticed when I was talking about like as a participant and as a viewer,
Mm-hmm.
when we got to Pole Caliber, I was like, I feel like 12 hours is a perfect time because I'm like, I kind of want more of this. I want to see more. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's a perfect time because you want to leave them wanting more of what you're doing. So I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, I'm partial to the Transformed myself and Shredder. Daytona was a lot of fun to watch, as always. Like I said, near and dear to my heart. Four Swords was unexpectedly chaotic and a lot of fun to watch.
We could have easily done a stream of just Four Swords because you barely get a grasp of it in one level. And there are 6 or 8 levels or something ridiculous. I forget. So it's got some girth.
And there's several games in that lineup that I could see like turning into like a full stream at some point. Because there's like so much stuff you can still do with them that you don't really get a grasp of in like an hour or half an hour, like you said. Night Trap was again pretty fun. Just again for the strategy, just watching the strategy, that was a lot of fun for me personally.
Cool,
and,
that's
of
good.
Course, Pole Caliber, always a classic. I think I lost my voice laughing at some of that, so that was fun.
Nice. And, that's the point. I definitely just let it all out, and I just go nuts. I could even hear, I think I heard Corey say something to Rachel, like, off camera, like, is he all right? And she's like, he's just hyping himself out so that he wears himself out, and, you know, this is it, you know? So, yeah.
Let him cook.
Yeah, something was definitely burning, I'll tell you that.
It's the soul burns.
Oh, you're right, yes, of course. How silly of me. Good golly, Miss Molly. Yeah, so that was that was the whole show. So thank you guys. We also gave away an udon coupon for those that donated $10 or more, I think it was. So thanks to them for helping us out with that. And again, you can still donate. Yeah, there is some good stuff. If you do still donate and it is over 10, reach out to us because it's hard for us to. It's not hard for us to keep track, but it is like I don't know. It's a weird thing. Just you know, if you know about it.
TJ specifically has
TJ was
code, so,
TJ was handling those pretty well. I have the code as well if you do need it, but that's pretty cool. I know I'm gonna grab the Okami art book. It's only good for a week, so if you're listening to this long after the fact, the code has expired because I know it's good through. Oh crap! I think the 16th.
I think he said the 16th. Yeah.
Okay.
I got some Persona 5 pins. I got Makoto and Haru. And I got a Street Fighter pin.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Sakura pink variant, which I didn't even know existed. It's like her win pose. So nice. I got those on the way, and it took a pretty good amount off of there. So
cool.
Also, I want to shout everyone out who donated, especially.
Yes.
Of course, my father was in on that. A lot of people that we knew, a lot of people we didn't know. But I do want to shout out specifically Sniffles. That guy's fucking insane. He is one of my favorite people on this planet. And God, what is his like final?
It just flashed on the thermometer rotates through. They have donated between yours and my team or areas they can donate or whatever $510 over the year so far.
Good God.
Yep.
So
there it is right there. Yeah, 510.
Big shouts out to him for helping everyone out because I think he did some for Corey as well.
Yes.
And TJ.
Yeah.
So just a good ass dude. Very much appreciate him. Very much appreciate everyone who came through. I think we had some people we didn't know that came through that were just like, we like helping out children's charities. And they dropped a whole bunch on us. So
yep, they did as well.
Thank you to them.
It's really awesome, the people that pop in, even just to donate, and then they realize, oh, they're playing weird video games, too. Corey's buddy Foxmac was in and donated an amount, and I loved what he said to do with it, because I think the blindfold was an option, and he's like, only if the blindfold can be shoved in Corey's mouth or something like that. For it, yeah.
There were a couple that donated to him that was like, okay, I want my incentives to be whatever inconveniences him the most.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we had the plushie incentives. People were piling those up, and then we had the udon thing I mentioned, and really the plushies kind of sold it, even when people weren't. That wasn't like why people were donating, but it helped as that's what incentives do. But those were gradually covering the couch. Mr. Bones, we found a stupid little skeleton at Walmart, and he was sitting on the couch. He played Mr. Bones. What a funny bit. Sort of works, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, so that was cool. That was awesome. It was another good time, and it did feel better doing just 12 hours instead of 24. I will admit. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'll mention real quick. I'll mention some pickups because they're relevant to what we were playing. We hit up TJ's regular stop. We hit up Galloping Ghost, which is always a good time. I have the hat on.
Did y'all play Primal Rage 2 for your boy?
Oh, no, sure didn't. I didn't anyway. Whoops. I did play the Code Veronica game, which I was really happy to do, because that is a weird, one-of-a-kind, on-rail shooter that you use. The gun is like still in a square, almost like a 8 directional box. The gun is on a stick in a square, so you actually move around in the game and fire the gun.
Huh.
If you look up Galloping Ghost gameplay of it, or somebody has a gameplay video of it, I definitely recommend that, because it's technically an on-rail shooter, but you're also walking on the rails, like moving at your own pace and everything. Somehow it's two-player. Somehow it's co-op. Yeah, it was very much only a Japan thing. But Galloping Ghost has 2 of them, and we couldn't get it to work to play together. But I played it by myself for a little bit, and it was really cool. It's weird to wrap your head around at first, but it's a beast. It's something else. But that was fun. Played some games there, and I bought some games. I added to my Dreamcast launch collection by getting TNN Motorsports Hardcore Heat. And I left the price tag on. Whoops. But yeah, one more. I'm just like 3 shy of it. Unfortunately, Power Stone is one of the launch games I don't own, so who knows when that'll get completed. And I found this at another store, which I am excited because I have not played, and probably will not play it on PS2 anytime soon, but will probably sooner play it on PSP anyway. Outrun 2002. Nice. Coast 2 Coasts. The number 2 in there. You know it's
great
good.
Game.
Great game. I tested it out, and the graphics have aged pretty well. And then, fittingly enough, we were at another store, and I ended up grabbing Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformer Vita. The physical, complete. It's got the box and stuff. Oh, and there goes the receipt. I opened it up at the register and saw a bonus game. And I looked at Rachel, and she's like, like, don't tell them. You got a free game. But it was Need for Speed Most Wanted, which has also aged pretty well on the Vita.
Oh, wow.
And goes for about as much. Transformed was going for the amount of cartridge only according to price charting. So I was like, I'll grab it, which means I only don't own it on 3DS now. The worst version, but it's the only one I don't have it on. And then Need for Speed is about as much as I paid for this, so it was a BOGO.
Nice.
If anything. Yeah. Chicago is fun. We didn't actually go into Chicago. We were in the Rockford area, but it was still cool to hang out with people, hang out with everybody, and do this crazy marathon thing and raise money overall. And it was really cool that you were in there, Brett, the whole time. If we were giving away the Dreamcast like we used to, you would have won it, right?
Yeah, honestly.
That got expensive. So
it got a little expensive.
Yeah.
The store I took you to back in 2016, 2015, where they were selling them for like $60. They jumped up to like $150 now.
Oh yeah,
it's
we
crazy.
did see one for like $80 or something, and we're like, oh wow, that's cheaper. Which is a horrible mindset.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, so it was cool to hang out with everybody and just play some games. We did play after, like we thought about, like we weren't gonna go out to a bar or anything to really celebrate, but we still had energy, so we ended up sitting down, and Corey had brought his Switch copy of Cruisin' Blast, and
Oh,
Matt
nice.
and TJ and I played that. I had played it before. Rachel and I kind of sat down and played it through in a sitting because it's super addictive. It is so good. It's only on the Switch, but get Cruising Blast. Like, most of the time we were playing it, both Corey and Matt were like, why wasn't this in the marathon? Because it's very arcadey. They've only added stuff to it. They didn't keep just a bare bones arcade version of it, but if you've got a Switch and you need an arcadey racing game, get Cruising Blast. It's probably pretty cheap
Hey,
now,
that
too.
describes me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the marathon, though. I mean, we do have Extra Life Day coming up that I plan on doing something. I think Rachel's going to help me with it. I'm not 100% certain. That's November something. What date is that? Probably should have had that ready, huh? Unless you can get to it quicker than me. But
November 4th.
okay, November 4th. So that is creeping up, or it will be. It is only September, but you know. Do you plan on doing any streams besides that one, like marathon length? Or I know you. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and just start our plugs. What are you going to be doing? You can maybe start with that.
No, I haven't really decided on anything like marathon length yet. It all depends on like my schedule and like a few things that have come up on my end. So I can't really confirm anything on that. But I am raising money all year for Extra Life. And for the team. So, and I normally play Tekken, Street Fighter 6, racing games, Final Fantasy 14 over on my channel, which is of course at Smash Villain. You can find me everywhere but Twitter at that name, Smash Villain 89 on Twitter. And yeah, I'd like to try to get more collabs going on that channel too. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
But,
it would be cool to do
I can-
something. I feel like we could play Turtles every now and again or something.
Oh hell yeah!
You know.
I got other people who want to do another like a Turtles co-op night. So whenever that happens, I'll let you know.
Nice. Yeah, keep me posted because I don't really play Steam stuff unless other people are playing basically now. So yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down for more of that because I have a feeling like it's funny. I would definitely prefer to sit on my couch and play it, but oh no, I do have a laptop now, so I could do it from the couch. This is me just processing it as we go here, but like I prefer to play a console version always, but at the same time it's like I've maxed out Mikey. I don't really want to do that again on the campaign because I know I'd play solo, but it's like and I just bought the DLC on the PC version. You know, first world gamer problems, but
I'm trying to remember how crossplay works on that too. It's just if it's
I think
just
it's only PC and
Switch.
Xbox.
Or PC and Xbox.
Yeah, I don't know if the other console versions do it or not, or how friendly
I'll
it
look
is
into
anyway. And I guess plugs for myself. You know, I've done a recent unboxing actually of Driving Strikers, so that's up now. The Static Zone podcast that Corey and I do. We recently had the Nick Flair, who we mentioned, and we also had Graham Cookson on. We were talking about a Jackie Chan movie, and by the time this is out, no, the next one won't be out yet, but Corey and I have got our ranking of cinema, which we purposely make sound more hoity-toity than it is because we compare things like, you know, can you really compare Hackers to Transformers to the Resident Evil movies to a pilot of an episode of a series? No, but we do it anyway.
We found a way.
We found a way. Life finds a way. Yeah, but I'm on Twitter and most things as Scotty Mofo Show. My name's underneath me there, except for Twitch, was just ScottyMo_Fo Show. I'm not really streaming right now. Outside of these marathons, I might get back into it soon, but you know, life also finds a way to get in the way, and that's what's happening. But yeah, I think we don't need to ramble too much more. We have said plenty. We've given the background of this marathon thing, and who knows where it'll go from here. It's always been Dreamcast focused, but we did expand a little bit, and we showed that can be just as much fun. Because truth be told, we were kind of tired of playing Jet Set Radio, and other stuff, and other stuff.
See, I gotta get Jet Set Radio Future in there now.
We could do that. I don't. Yeah, I mean anything's possible since it's hand
Bomb
more.
Rush. If it
Bomb
actually
Rush,
comes down to a
Cyberpunk,
reasonable
maybe.
price.
Yeah, we could do. Sky is the limit now. Driving Strikers, 12 hours. Here we go.
Hell yeah! Let's go.
Yeah. So, no, I think that really is going to do it, though. So, Brett, thank you again. Was there anything else you wanted to mention, or we did the plugs, the marathon, anything like that at all?
Just thank you for letting me be a part of this and be a part of the community, and just this is to see what this is all turned into, and to see the amount of impact it has made is truly heartwarming. Because we were at a point where it's like, okay, $500, that's fine. Now we're approaching 25 for the whole year.
500. I got a tattoo. Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
There
the
it is.
500 block, the bust 'em open block. I got a tattoo because it was like, whoa, 500. That's crazy. I'm gonna get a tattoo for it. But here we are now. I did do the math, and I mentioned this during the marathon too, when Brett, and it's fitting that Brett's dad put us over this amount. Now, as a group, or collectively, the teams that we have led, we've raised over $10,000 for Extra Life, which for a tiny little crew of people, that's not like, we're not Giant Bomb, we're not, Rooster Teeth or something. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty good amount that we've raised over time. So thank you all to viewers like you. For all of that.
We're like 11,000 at this point with all the extra that's come in too, right?
Most definitely. Yeah, 2255 is our total now. I think, now that I think about it, I think that's the highest any group I've been a part of has done. Because let me go back and double check. Yeah, holy crap! Because last year the grand total last year was $2,150. So we've already beat. It happened after the marathon. I wish it had happened during, so we could have all had the group to celebrate. But if there's any place to celebrate, it's now. Now we've done the most we've ever raised with the teams I've been a part of. So that's really cool. So let's keep it going, guys. I don't know what I'm going to stream for Extra Life Day. I was tossing up the idea of Sega CD and other stuff. We'll see, though. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
Don't really have an outro.
Like you said, that we're just a small crew that somehow has made that much of an impact with the fucking Sega Dreamcast and other things now, which
sitting on our butts playing video games
is the coolest thing, and it means a lot for everyone, whether it's someone I know, someone I've never met before, whatever. Everyone coming together and supporting that and making cool shit like this happen, it means the world. So thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys, and we'll catch you online. We'll catch you on the other one. See ya. Catch you on the other one. Catch you on the next one is what I... Oh, we're done. We're done.
It works. Just let it roll.
I don't understand what's going on here.